60 Minutes is the most outrageous thing I've ever seen. Let's just go right here.
Who is
60 Minutes? We'll just call them 60 Mockingbirds. I'm reading their tweet. In conservative media, Ray Epps is a notorious villain responsible for turning the protests on January 6th into a riot. That's a straw man because he's not responsible for it. He just partook in it and participated in it, and he himself took credit for it. It is a convoluted conspiracy theory. No, it's not. And it's a convoluted conspiracy theory he denies. It's on camera, you freaking buffoons. And I'll show it. Don't worry, I'll show you. Revolver did. Oh, Darren Beatty's coming back on this week. I have to figure out. It's either tomorrow or the day after. Darren Beatty of Revolver is coming back on. We're going to talk about it. Revolver did the most epic, I think it was a 2 or 3 part mini series breaking down this thing. There was Scaffold Guy, who apparently has never been found or prosecuted. Ray Epps, who was on the FBI's most wanted list. And wait until you hear the reason for which 60 Minutes says he's not been prosecuted. He was on the list, but then they just called up the FBI and said, we're going to cooperate. And the FBI said, okay, good. You're off the hook. It's a convoluted conspiracy theory he denies. Now he's in hiding, facing death threats. Bad, categorically bad. Don't threaten anybody ever, period. And I think most of us know that. This Sunday, Ray Epps sits down with us. Did I put the video here? Who quoted me? You are not reporting what happened by reporting only part of what happened and deliberately misrepresenting through omission what actually happened. Doing that actually just makes you a liar. And your replies eliminate all doubt. That's a very smart thing that I said. Thank you for reminding me. When people think that I happen to know that individual is someone who thinks that they control me. But that's a very smart thing that I said. It's wise beyond my own years. Let me just, it's a convoluted conspiracy theory. It makes no sense. It's crazy. It's crazy. Why? That conservatives think that Ray Epps orchestrated the January 6th. It's a convoluted conspiracy theory that he denies. He denies it.
Into the Capitol. What? No! Peacefully. Fed. Tomorrow, I don't even like to say it because I'll be arrested.
Well, let's not say it.
We need to go.
Oh, I'm sorry. I don't want to say it because I'll be arrested. So here he is now admitting that he knows he's doing something that ordinarily would get the ordinary person arrested. I mean, many of the January 6ers who didn't do anything like this did get arrested. So he was right, but he didn't get arrested for some reason. Why not? Let me play that part again. That face. Look at the face. This is the face of someone who what just happened? Dude, I'm going, if there weren't a camera here, I would.
Tomorrow, I don't even like to say it because I'll be arrested.
Well, let's not say it.
We need to go. I'll say it.
All right.
We need to go in.
Shut the fuck up, Boomer.
To the Capitol.
Base Fed posting? All right. We need to go in.
These kids are smarter than most people. It's an amazing thing. This is a white pill moment if there is one. At their age, I wasn't that ahead of the curve, although I don't think the world was what it is now when I was their age, which was 20 years ago, maybe even more, maybe 25 years ago. Fed. I don't even want to say it because I'm going to get arrested. I know that I'm going to get arrested, and yet I didn't get arrested. And yet he was telling people to do something that he knew would get them arrested. Yeah, it's a convoluted conspiracy theory that he denies.
Into the Capitol. I didn't see that coming. Okay.
Monument Hill.
This is the day of, I believe.
Speaking, we are going to the Capitol where our problems are. It's that direction. Please spread the word.
all right? No, Dave, but one more thing.
Yeah, so can we go up there? No?
When we go in,
Are we going to get arrested if we
leave
go
this
up there?
here. You don't need to.
I'm an idiot. I put it on mute so you wouldn't hear me crunch ice. Can you believe this guy hasn't been charged? I know everybody watching now has seen all of this. Actually, hold on one second. Who watching this right now has not seen this? Okay, 1, I have never seen this. 2, I have seen this already. Who here has not seen this footage yet? 1, I have never seen this footage. 2, I have seen this footage. Okay, I'm not muted anymore. Who here has not seen this footage? Good. There's one, there's 1, there's 2 ones, 3. Yes. Oh, people are getting the red pill suppository today, baby. I'll tell you what. Okay, so the majority have seen it, but there's a lot of people who haven't. Let's keep watching. This is from the Revolvers expose. These are their exhibits, the number 4 on the top. Listen to this. Let's keep going.
You get
Did you
shot.
arrest us all?
Let's go!
It's a convoluted conspiracy theory. He denies. He denies all of that. I didn't say we should go into the Capitol. I didn't say. I mean, it's just don't believe your lying eyes. I didn't say go into the Capitol. I didn't say things that got me called the Fed. I didn't trespass. I didn't enter a restricted area. I deny all of it. I mean, it's right there on camera, but I deny it. Now, 60 Minutes. This is their reporting. At 6'4", we're gonna watch that video in a second. At 6'4", Ray Epps stood out from the crowd. Let me just make sure we're looking at the same thing. Let me make it big so we can see this. At 6'4", he stood out from the crowd on January 6th. The former Oath Keeper is now the target of a far-right conspiracy theory that he ignited the violence at the Capitol. Are you fucking kidding me, 60 Minutes? Like, it's not a conspiracy theory. The video is there. He admitted it. It's just crazy. It's just crazy. Epps points to a videotape from the day that shows he was trying to keep the peace. Oh, let's watch this.
At 6'4" in his desert camouflage, bright.
But by the way, he stood out because he was 6'4". He didn't stand out because he was telling people to storm the Capitol, to go into the Capitol. He didn't stand out because he was orchestrating where people should go, directing people to the Capitol. He stood out because he's 6'4". If only he were 5'6" like me, he wouldn't have stood out at all. I mean, he could have done the exact same thing he did. At 5'6", nobody would have cared.
Bright red Trump hat and military-style backpack, Ray Epps stood out from the crowd on January 6th. That's him running toward the U.S. Capitol alongside the vanguard of rioters who first attacked and overran police.
What do you think when you see this now?
It brings back some bad memories.
Sorry, no comment.
It's hard to see our Capitol under attack.
It's been more.
Do you understand? But just deception right there. It's hard to see our Capitol under attack. Let me dissociate myself from me being there attacking the Capitol. Or maybe he wasn't, because he knew in his heart of hearts he wasn't attacking anything. He was just orchestrating, provoking it. It's hard to see our Capitol under attack. It's hard to see that 6'4" man with the Trump hat and the military-style backpack storming the Capitol.
More than 2 years since the storming of the Capitol, but Ray and his wife Robin told us they relive January 6th every day of their lives.
Some people have said, well, just let it go and let it die down.
It doesn't.
What they don't understand is it doesn't.
No, oh, it doesn't. So let's do a 60 Minutes report and tell you that it never happened, even though you're looking at the video footage of it happening.
Exactly was the role of Ray Epps in the chaos of January 6th.
The theory, Epps, a former member of the Oath Keepers, was an FBI informant who incited the crowd on January 6th.
You all do know that there were FBI informants in the Oath Keepers. I mean, that they were infiltrated. Was it the Oath Keepers or the Proud Boys where the FBI informants were actually having exchanges with Defense Counsel? I forget which one, but it's one of those.
Bubbled up from a right-wing news site called Revolver News, run by a former Trump speechwriter.
He's the
And they have a
smoking
heart
gun of
attack.
the entire Fedsurrection.
and landed on Fox News primetime.
Unbelievable. It's crazy. Like an actual journalist actually discovered facts and actually reported them, and people actually came to accurate conclusions based on that accurate reporting. Oh, mamacita, it's absolutely crazy. We're not done yet, people. Like I'm only pulling up the highlights because otherwise, I mean, I don't. Let me see here. Is this one? No. Justin Trudeau. This tweet is so dumb. No. Oh, according to 60 Minutes. Let me see here. Is this? Here we go. Look at this. Ray Epps. Let's read the 60 Minutes, how they depict this. I don't think we're going to watch the whole video. January 6th protester Ray Epps says during the insurrection, he tried to keep the peace. He's on camera saying we need to go into the Capitol. I don't even want to say it because I'm going to get arrested. No, he's trying to keep the peace. He says he regrets sending a text to a relative that he, quote, orchestrated it. He claims he was boasting to my, oh, we know what you were doing, and meant he was directing people to the Capitol. Okay. He was directing people to the Capitol. Let's see this.
Committing an act of violence. Ray Epps was never seen committing an act of violence that day.
He was seen breaking the law. Nobody said he committed an act of violence, you pathological liars in 60 Minutes.
Or entering the Capitol. Epps
entering restricted area is different than entering the Capitol, but he's seen entering a restricted area. He was past the bike rack.
Told us when he saw the violence, his fervor to enter the building became a desire to play peacemaker.
We need to go into the Capitol. I don't even want to say it's going to get me around. Let's make some peace. Let's make the peace, people. I'm only there to make peace.
They're not the enemy. They're not the enemy. Appreciate you guys.
And police body cam video backs him up.
I thought I could stop it. So I went back and forth. I
thought I could stop it after thinking I could start it. I thought I could stop it after trying to start it.
people down and worked the line back and forth. Step down.
Was that before or after you told him to go into the Capitol? If Ray Epps wants to come on my channel for an interview, oh my goodness, it will be totally respectful. I'll do it in person. I would just ask these questions, Ray. Sorry, you tried to stop it after you tried to start it? You tried to tell them to calm down after you told them to go into the Capitol? You tried to tell them to be peaceful after you told them to do something that you knew would get them arrested?
Step down. We're good here. That kind of thing.
Oh, yeah.
And I kept it that way for quite some time.
Take a step back. We're holding ground. We're not trying to get people hurt. They don't want to get hurt. You don't want to get hurt. Just back off.
Epps says he left the Capitol grounds to help evacuate an injured man. The time, 2:54 p.m.
I looked back at the Capitol, and there was people crawling up the Capitol walls, and it looked terrible. I mean,
mission accomplished, right, Ray?
I was kind of ashamed of what was going on at that point.
I was ashamed of what was going on at that point when it's exactly what I was egging people on to do.
So I started to walk out.
He told us
he was ashamed then. And then he texted his nephew. Let's hear this.
When he sent this text to his nephew, conspiracists saw it as the true confession of an agent provocateur.
I was in front with a few others. I also orchestrated it. Explain this to me.
I was boasting to my nephew.
He just said he was ashamed. He just said he was ashamed of what he saw. And then after being ashamed of what he saw, he goes and boasts to his nephew. To be a good liar, you have to have a good memory. And it seems that Ray Epps doesn't have a good memory. I'm sorry, do we appreciate that? Like the critical thinking here? I saw them crawling up the walls. I was ashamed of what was going on. So I went and then boasted to my nephew about it.
I helped get people there. I was directing people to the Capitol that morning.
You know how this sounds.
I know exactly how it sounds. I've been scolded by my wife for using that word. I shouldn't have used that word.
When you add up all of these things, as your critics have done, you've given them a lot of ammunition to paint you as this instigator.
There was an effort to make me the scapegoat.
There was an effort to make me the scapegoat. Hold on, let me just make sure that I heard this properly.
People crawling up the Capitol walls, and it looked terrible. I mean, I was kind of ashamed of what was going on at that point.
So then I immediately took to my cell phone to boast to my nephew.
So I started to walk out.
He told us that's when he sent this text to his nephew.
The lie doesn't even make sense. The lie, by their own dishonesty, doesn't make sense. I was ashamed of what I was looking at. People climbing the Capitol wall. So ashamed, I immediately took to boasting to my nephew. Oh my goodness. Okay, I think we can only do like one or two more things here. Let's just see here. After Epps spoke, this is here we go. What happens here? What happens on this one? After Epps spoke with the FBI, the photo was removed from the Bureau's website. He thought his troubles were over. So listen to this. This is, Ray Epps. I am on the FBI's most wanted list. I'll call them up. I'll cooperate entirely, and they'll just take me off of it and let me go.
When Epps got back to Arizona on January 8th, a relative told him he was on an FBI poster seeking information about certain rioters.
I have a question. Who at the FBI took his picture off the poster? I would FOIA all correspondence relating to the decision to remove Epps from the poster. Who at the FBI? Why?
We literally hung up the phone and walked right into the house, sat down and called the FBI.
Do you remember what?
First of all, who has a direct number to the FBI, or do they just Google the FBI? Sounds like they might have a direct line.
You said to the FBI?
Told them who I was and that I would cooperate in any way I could. I didn't break any laws.
No, that's not true. That's a filthy lie.
2 months later, he met with agents.
So when we met with the
2 months later, he met with agents. When did they take him off the list? The next day?
FBI, I mean, it was like...
So he sees himself on the list. He calls the FBI. It sounds like he has a direct line to them. And 2 months later, they meet with him. But in the interim, they take him off the list. Okay.
Finally, we're going to clear this up. There was no, I take the fifth. There was none of that. It was just like we're talking right now.
I'm sure it was.
And went through everything. And they had a lot of questions.
Cool.
In the summer of 2021, the FBI took his picture off the Bureau's website. Epps thought that would end his troubles, but it only added fuel to the conspiracy.
A new piece in Revolver.
Was he the only one that immediately called the FBI? I can tell you for a fact that he's not the only one that immediately contacted the authorities when they discovered they were in trouble.
News notes that the FBI removed a photo of Ray Epps from its most wanted page this summer.
How about the one guy? Go in, get in there, everybody. Epps, get in there, go. Nothing happens to him.
The Epps would dispute that.
Oh, then it gets into how he's been the victim of threats. You know who else cooperated entirely once they found out there was an issue? Brendan Strzok would be one. Brendan Strzok immediately called the authorities. You know what happened to him? A shit ton more than what happened to Ray Epps. I forget exactly. He ended up pleading guilty to a lesser charge, was under 3 months house arrest, had to pay some sort of fine, I think, for restitution. Oh no, but he didn't even do anything comparable to what Ray Epps did. Oh, so that's it. That's all you had to do. You just had to cooperate with the FBI and all charges would be dropped and you'd have no life-destroying prosecutions. Oh, someone should tell I'm pretty sure Jacob and Jelly and all the other ones cooperated as well. It doesn't make sense because it doesn't make sense because it can't make sense because it's a poorly thought out lie, attempt to spin the unspinnable, and the only people who are dumb enough to fall for it are the ones who are dumb enough to fall for it. How's that for a bunch of circular truisms? All that to say, the entire Ray Epps story is absolute, thorough bullshit. And the reason why they are stirring this up now and trying to force the unbelievable on people is because they know people are not going to believe it, are going to get enraged at the outrageous attempts to force them to believe the unbelievable. They're going to reinvigorate whatever harassment Ray Epps was getting before that probably quelled off as the story, dissipated. They know that they're reinvigorating all of that, and they're doing it on purpose, possibly with some sick, sordid hope that something bad happens, so they can then say, look at this crowd. They're so bad. Look what they did to Ray Epps. Or less sinisterly, but equally sinister, so that Ray Epps can come out and say, look, I'm getting all this harassment again. I'm just an innocent victim. And they knew that it would happen based on what they're doing, because what they're trying to do is treat people like idiots by forcing them to believe the unbelievable. Okay, that's all I have to say on Ray Epps.